actually reflected in the claim, we have a problem. So what are the various avenues of doing it? Most of these avenues, by the way, are free. You don't actually need to pay for these services. The best avenue that you have is actually Google. Just literally going online, searching for a particular person's mobile phone number, seeing where it turns up. Is it that there are 3 bidders and the other 2 bidders are also linked with the same mobile phone for other bid submissions with other EAs? Have you checked that? Have you looked at any adverse news? There is talk about a company that you're working with filing for bankruptcy. Anyone here was working with Isolas Corsan or Corsan Covium? It's a Spanish company that filed for bankruptcy last year. It affected quite a few of our projects. Being aware of that will help us take better decisions. We have also engaged retailers to conduct our investigations. You can also do reference checks with fellow project officers, fellow EAs, fellow IAs. Another option is to also do site visits. Go to the office of the guy. See whether he actually is there and has always been there. See what boards are put up. Whether the other 3 bidders' names are next to his name on the same board in the same office and they're all working together. Ask those questions. You can also gain access to our sanctions list, where we have 2 versions of it. One is the complete list and one is the published list. You actually have access to the complete list. What's the difference between these 2 lists? The published list are only those who have been crossed the bar or who have failed to accept our sanctions notice. That is the published list that is available to everyone. It doesn't matter whether you are or are not working for an ADB project. The complete list has those who are also first-time offenders. It includes those who have been sanctioned, but because they are first-time offenders and we don't want to put them out of business because the crime or the integrity violation they've committed is not that serious to merit immediate publication, we choose not to publish it. We choose to then put that information in the complete list. All of you here, by virtue of working on ADB projects, have access to the complete list. You can go online onto our website, that's adb.org/integrity, click on the sanctions page, and it will open up with the sanctions list, where you have both the complete list and the published list. So if you see the published list, you can just click on the blue button there and give you access. But the complete list, you have to actually register. You will be given a user ID and password. It's a simple process, but it will give you access to the complete list that we have, which will then give you the ability to actually go ahead and look at who has been sanctioned for what purpose. All our sanctions are not made public, but because you work on ADB projects, you will have access to this information, and it is a great tool to use. One of the things I would actually like you to take away from this entire session is going to be this list, because that will really help you do your work better and more efficiently. The reason why I'm harping about this so much is because of the numbers. We disperse what, 25 billion a year? Well, not disperse, we have a portfolio of 25 billion projects a year, right? $25 billion. Must be having, there's no correct estimate, but probably around 3,000-4,000 EAs at least. So how many do you think have access to this list right now? 230, of which 45 are from our region, 17 from Bangladesh. So you have a resource which you can use, which is free, but we don't have people registering for that link because they're probably not aware. Which is why I would reiterate again, please register for this access. You will be granted this access by virtue of you being working on ADB projects, and then we can actually give you access to that list. You then have access to the information behind these companies as well. So where to get information? As I was saying, the ADB sanctions list is one option. The other option is third-party sanctions lists. There are various different lists by different entities. The US has its own list, etc. For various things. There is also databases, some of which are available online, some of which you can subscribe to, some of which are free. There is also third-party sources which are actually free and are actually available to you. When, for example, you get a bid from a particular company and you're suspecting that this bid is actually from this company A, who's in collusion with company B and C who have also bid for the project. They have a website, Go online, go to whois.com, see who owns their website. You can create a company, you can forge that. But then to put money into the company and then pay for a website annual maintenance requires an entity to exist somehow, to be linked back to that financial stream, to be linked back to the money. Find out who owns the website. It will be very interesting sometimes. You'll quickly see that the same company owns all three websites. And it's been only set up to make you think, "Arey, it's a very big company, they're doing business all over the world." You may not know them because they've not done business in your country before, but they are very experienced. Self-populating websites. How many of us here are LinkedIn? Anybody here who uses LinkedIn, the website, the professional website? Okay. So, what do you think about LinkedIn? Why do you use LinkedIn? What is the benefit to you? Okay. What about you? Right. Networking, you mean. Okay. So, tell me, if you go on LinkedIn and if you create a profile saying that you are, I don't know, the Prime Minister of Bangladesh, for example, will LinkedIn stop you? Will LinkedIn say, "Arey man, what are you doing? Don't do this. You obviously are the Prime Minister," right? Will LinkedIn stop you? Will LinkedIn say, "Don't do it"? Will LinkedIn do a fact check to see what's the information that they have provided? They won't. It's what computer programmers like to call GIGO, garbage in, garbage out. If the person is going to put whatever they want to put on that web page, they can. They could be the last thing of Scotland. I could be that. And it wouldn't change anything. So when we look at these self-populated websites, whether it's Facebook, LinkedIn, any of these places, we have to be careful of fake news, fake information, fake credentials, and look at them with a bit of circumspect and a bit of doubt. Be careful with them and see how you can corroborate what's being said. Because many a times you can just create a profile and fill in experience, I work on this, and this, which ties in perfectly with the bid documents, but it's not what they have done. Finally, of course, we have the search engines, which include Google, Yahoo, Bing. There's one that I would like to highlight over here, that's Baidu. Baidu is a Chinese search engine. It is very useful because we have a lot of Chinese companies bidding for our projects. So if you want to look up, and because Google doesn't work in China, Google is not allowed to operate in China, if you Google a Chinese company, you'll probably not get many good results as such. But if you use Baidu, they will actually translate it for you and actually give you back good results on what that company is about. Why is this useful? You will then find out whether the CEO or the CFO or the president of the company has been arrested for corruption, which you will not see otherwise because you will not be trawled by Google and will not respond. When you run the same person's name or the same company's name through Google, you get no hits. This is a suggestion, a solution maybe, of how you can do things in a better manner. So when we run searches through Google, we see a ton of results. You get millions of results. Run anything through it, just run your own name. You'll probably get thousands of results you didn't know existed. The reason why you get those results is because the search terms that are being used are not accurate. They are not exact. The more exact you make them, the better your search results. For example, if you use Bangladesh and corruption, or if you use this Kumar Ahmed and put Kumar Ahmed and Bangladesh, there's a huge difference in the number of hits. From nearly 4 million hits with just Kumar Ahmed, you will get what, 3,000 odd hits, 39,000 odd hits with Kumar Ahmed in quotes and Bangladesh. So what's those quotes? What's and in that? Those are just Boolean operators. They help make your searches more exact. It helps wean out all the Kumar Gauravs, Kumar Sachdevs, Kumar Shah, Kumar Mehta, Kumar whatever, and focus only on one person, that name, Kumar Ahmed. So why is that important? It's because you can actually then get more credible results. You can get more credible results by using those operators. So one option is to go ahead and use and. You can also use or, which will give you either or. You can choose to use parenthesis, which will give you a more, you can choose a combination of terms to search for. You can actually choose exact. So if you want to get an exact find, use quotation marks for the term. If you want to get variations of it, so corrupt, corrupted, corruption, corrupting, corruptible, just put corrupt with an asterisk at the end of it. You'll get all those hits. It will help streamline your results and help you get credible information that you can actually use, and not the millions of results that you never really want to see in the first place. So, what's the consequences of poor due diligence? We all know this. Poor quality of the roads that we build, poor quality of the infrastructure that we make. Increased costs, because guess what you have to do when the road that you finance or we finance is not built properly? That's right, repair and maintenance. After the defect liability period is over, and once you sign off on it, it's our baby. Whether we like it for better or worse, we have to live with it for the rest of our lives. Delays. What do they say about justice? Justice delayed is justice denied. It's the same with projects. A project delayed is effectively a project denied. The need exists for the project, that's why we are financing and executing it. But if it's delayed, the impact is actually going to be lost. Finally, and the most important one, danger to beneficiaries. Danger not only in the sense of physical harm that could be caused to them, but danger also in the sense that they will become disillusioned with the whole process. They will be excluded from economic development. They will be excluded from moving out of poverty and helping sustain themselves and becoming more self-sufficient. All because of this. So, key takeaways. First and foremost, conduct integrity due diligence on every transaction you get, whatever be the transaction. Understand the integrity violations and the corresponding remedial actions. We've shared our annual report with you. You also have the list of the integrity violations, the card that's with you. We also have to talk about recognizing red flags and strengthening the evaluation. Ask questions. No question is a bad question. It might seem silly to somebody else, it doesn't matter. If you're signing off on it, you need to be 100% sure that that is actually what you want to sign off on. If you have the remotest of doubt in your mind, ask that question. Strengthen project supervision to align with AD procedures. And finally, sign up for access to the complete sanctions list. So you can actually use that information to get better with your due diligence on your projects. In sum, I'd like to bring to your, I would like to think about this. We call this a sunshine test. What is a sunshine test? I also like to call it the Times of India test. If people knew what you were doing, would they be happy to know what you were doing? When I say people, I don't mean any random person off the street, your family, your friends. Would they like to be associated with Nasaran Talaki? Or will they think that, oh, this guy is an idiot, and they would never want to have anything to do with them? If you can't answer that question, if you can't, let's say, deal with the fact that tomorrow they will say that Nasaran came to Bangladesh, made a presentation, it's on the front page of the Times of India, which is the largest newspaper in India, would you be okay with it? Or would you be ashamed of it? Would you want to not be associated with it? It's the same when any of our projects come in the news. Oh, this bridge fell. Oh, this road is not built properly. The hospital that was built doesn't have the equipment is malfunctioning. The schools that were supposed to be built and supposed to be constructed, they've not got textbooks, there's no desks and chairs over there, children are not going to the school. It's the same thing. Would you be okay with it? And if you are not okay with it, don't do it. That is the fundamental basic premise that we all should work with. So with that, I'd like to wrap up. Do you have any questions? I'm happy to take questions at this point. Yes, sir.
What you said actually is very good, and it has lots of implications for procurement contract roles actually. But the problems, as you know, in selecting contractors, suppliers, is binding by bidding documents. Once bidding documents, agreed upon between borrowers and ADB, so that's the Bible at the stage of evaluation. The problem that some of the bidding documents, what you have said are not brought into the bidding documents. At the evaluation stage, even there are some bidders we know, we went to the audit website, we found out this bidder actually is under sanction even by the national government. But if it's not in the bidding document, you cannot actually exclude them. You see, so I think this kind of due diligence, should be done at the stage of preparing the bidding documents. But the bidder, you don't know who the bidders will be. How can you do that? So I think that there's a disconnection between this the bidding documents and what OAI is doing.
We actually have a cover chart. It's under the eligibility criteria in the bid documents where we actually mention that the firm or the individual cannot be a sanctioned entity. If the firm or the individual is a sanctioned entity, they cannot be awarded the contract. It's part of the eligibility criteria in the bidding document. It then becomes part of the contract because those conditions of contract is in the GCC and PCC as well. They then form part of the contract as well when the contract is awarded. So we do try and link it. But you are correct. In the past, there wasn't a direct link between anti-corruption and integrity and the choices that the EAs and the IAs have to make. That was the case earlier, but that has been remediated. Now that is part of the bid document, it becomes part of the contract award, becomes part of the actual contract that they have to actually comply with in any case. So it's there, it's now there.
But does ADB allow, bidders that are under national government sanction to bid for ADB contracts?
It depends on the bid document. If there is a situation where there has already been an agreement as the initial stage itself, when the concept has been floated, we can discuss that. In certain cases, we have included it. The problem with it is, if we have to recognize a national sanction, it has to be part not only of the bid document eligibility, it has to be part of something we recognize. The reason why we can cross the bar entities amongst the FDDs is because we all have agreed definitions, agreed procedures, agreed outcomes, and we are all basically operating in our environments but with a set of common goals and practices. That may not be the case with a national sanction. So we've had to, in certain cases, not recognize national sanctions, and then in some cases, like there was a case recently in India where there was a national sanction imposed by a particular state. It was sent to all these entities working on this particular transportation project, and despite them sending it out, these entities themselves didn't recognize it within the country. So national sanctions in itself, if they have basis in law, if they have some kind of procurement law behind it, if they are part of the eligibility criteria for an assessment for a bid, yes, they can be recognized. But post facto, if after they have already agreed upon, it's not been initially discussed, and then if they want to include it retrospectively, we don't allow that normally.
So how should we deal with those firms which are under investigation? There's no conclusion yet.
Yes.
But if we select them, they cannot provide services. They cannot provide, deliver equipment. Right. Because they are under investigation.
Yes.
So how should we deal with those?
Two ways. First of all, you've got to make the firm aware that you are aware, and that you know that they are that there is an issue, etc., with what they've been doing. If you find one. Primarily, the first point of contact in such circumstances, and we just had another request on this particular thing yesterday, is you contact OAI. We will advise you what you need to look at in more detail. For example, if there is a bidder who has the penchant of submitting documentation or credentials which are potentially fake, or artificially sublime CVs which have all sorts of masters and PhDs which don't really exist from countries and companies that don't exist, in that case, we can then actually tell you, look at, for example, look at all the key personnel proposed, check for their CVs, check for their credentials. make sure, call up the university and make sure that this is not the case.
Yeah, but the problem is that investigation takes a long time.
Yes.
And nobody knows when the university can be concluded.
Yes.
So our years will be suffering. And we can make it even stuck at the stage of evaluation. At the stage of evaluation, they are under investigation, and then but they are the doors to evaluate the bidders. And should we have award the contract or not? If we award, they never deliver. So we can't get goods and services.
So I understand the frustration, and it's the frustration with any system, any criminal justice system. It's the same in our courts, it's the same in any process. There's a reason behind it, Jack. The reason behind it is that, and this is a commonly quoted principle, you can let 99 people or 100 people go scot-free, guilty people go scot-free, but you don't have one innocent person who will be delayed or denied justice. Now, an investigation, the mere fact that you're under investigation means nothing. Just because you are under investigation doesn't mean that you are a bad company or a bad bidder or bad anything. It only means that there is a complaint which has been received, which is being assessed to see whether it is material, credible, verifiable within our mandate. And after that assessment is completed, whether or not this particular integrity violation has occurred. By virtue of a complaint being received, it does not mean that the company is someone we should not do business with. And that is something that has to be premised on everything that we do. Eligibility is determined by sanctions. If you are not sanctioned, if you have not been debarred by ADB, you are eligible to apply. And you can apply. And the reason being that you do not want someone to make a frivolous complaint and simply, like you used to have it, I don't know if you know, but in the government service, in the good old days, in India, I used to have an annual confidential report, which is your appraisal. When anyone is about to get promoted, there would be, sometimes there would be complaints about this particular individual. They're not based on any fact. They're just complaints to delay or prevent the promotion from going to that person and going to somebody else. Bidders can operate in the same way. File a complaint for integrity violation. It's just a made-up complaint. It doesn't really exist. And then they'll say, there's a complaint. It's being investigated. Oh, we can't award the contract to them. That's not the way it should be. We should be evaluating and assessing it based on the eligibility for that particular contract.
But our EAs will be victims of that. Actually, this is a real case. This is not hypothetical. Actually, it's an Indian firm, and it's under Indian government, investigation, and the Indian government restricting, supplier to provide goods. So, even though you got contract, you cannot deliver goods and services, the goods. So our EA is the victim, And then, there's another package. It's also the lowest evaluated bidder. So the one way, what I'm saying, to deal with this situation, we can only deal with it at the stage of preparing bidding documents.
Yes.
Can we put into the eligibility criteria that, those firms which are under the national government sanctions are not eligible for bidding?
Currently, under the current project administration instructions, we can on a case-by-case basis. We do not do it as the rule. Because we cannot assess, and the only way of actually being sure and putting it would be to actually assess every country's anti-corruption system in comparison with the MDB's rules and regulations, both of which keep changing, both of which will be applied in different ways. For example, our requirement is more probable than not, which means that a particular thing took place 50.0001%. But when it comes to criminal procedures, it's beyond reasonable doubt. You can't say somebody murdered someone on a more probable than not basis. So when these people are sanctioned under national procurement systems or national procurement laws, they are sanctioned on a beyond reasonable doubt, which is a much higher standard. Our standard is lower. The reason our standard is lower is because we do not have a police force. We don't have guns. We don't conduct raids. Our process is administrative. We follow the administrative rules and then we implement them. So because of that, it's very hard to equate both the systems. But the PAIs, I think it's 39 if I remember correctly, does allow you to do that on a case-to-case basis. So we do allow that. It does happen.
But the thing is that at the stage of doing the bidding documents, we don't know who the bidders will be.
But you can still
so you use case by case. We don't know what is a case by case. So it has to be general rule. I think we have to give a lot of thought to this eligibility criteria. We have to fence out better Because many of our events actually suffering from the poor performance of contractors, consultants, or whatsoever. They are not, even though they are not ABB sections, but maybe their records are shown somewhere, under the national government system.
But then we would only sanction them for integrity violations, not for poor performance. So if they perform badly on the project, that's a procurement issue, that's a performance issue, that's an operational issue. But from an integrity perspective, did they bribe someone? Did they force someone? Did they collude with someone? Did they obstruct someone? Yes, then we would definitely investigate them. But if it is just on performance, they fail to deliver what they promised. We have our bid guarantees, bid securities, etc. as well. Performance guarantees, bank guarantees as part of the process, which we can lean on financially at least. But I take your point. The damage to the project, the time loss is obviously significant.
But this too, nobody, need. If they don't perform, many times I think they misrepresent the information. That's how they got contact.
In that case, we can sanction them.
Yeah. Anyway, the point is that I think we have to give more thoughts to eligibility criteria. That require joint efforts of our procurement office and your office.
We are actually looking at. We are in discussions with DPNP about it. We are looking to see what can be done, because one of the things we really want to do is include a requirement that the bidder needs to tell the EAs who they are. Right now, they're not required to tell us who they are. They're only required to provide us with some incorporation documents, and that could be a shell company anywhere. We wouldn't know. So we are actually discussing how we can do that. But again, the procurement documents are also harmonized as per the critics standards across all the MDVs. So we have to actually look at changing all across. So that's the other challenge.
That's it for
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry. Excuse me. I have a question.
Yes.
Is intentional false allegation and complaint integrity violation or not?
Okay. Now, it's an interesting question. I'm more stunned because I was asked this question yesterday by the Bangladesh Resident Mission. One staff member asked me this question, precisely this question. So the way we look at it is, if there is genuine reason for someone to have filed a complaint, and because of filing that complaint, they actually had documents, actually provided the information, then at that point in time, we will look at it differently. But if we can see that there was malfeasance and they were deliberately filing a complaint, if it was our own staff, it is retaliation, it's misconduct. Filing a false complaint is misconduct. If it's an external party, if it's someone else, we would dismiss the complaint. We know who the complainant is. We maintain our records. So in the future, when someone files a complaint with us, it's in their profile with us. We know what they have done last time. So while we can't sanction them for actually, filing a false complaint, unless we can demonstrate that it was obstructive practice because they tried to mislead the investigators, then we can sanction them. But other than that, we would normally just keep a track record of them. The next time they file a complaint with us, we evaluate the credibility. It will not go very far.
This is a very common practice in the country.
Yes.
So actually, if they file any allegation or complaints, actually ADB may not know all these allegation or complaints. So should we give it to you, all
Yes.
the allegation and complaints?
Yes.
Should you give it to you for your record?
Yes. And for our evaluation, we will actually investigate them. We document and investigate every complaint we get. We will assess it first to see whether it's material, credible, verifiable, and whether it's within our mandate. And after that, we will then proceed to convert it to an investigation or close it if it doesn't meet those requirements.
Because why I say this, because if you don't punish that, it will go on continuing.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
it is going on, it's increasing.
Yes.
So we have to do something about it.
Sure, definitely. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, I think my time is up. Yes.
Conflict of interest.
Yes, sir.
Actually, while we can say is conflict of interest, which side will look at this conflict of interest?
When you say whose side, could you explain that a little bit?
Conflict of interest, say, some regards submitted within document.
Yes.
Sometimes say these documents say it is a compliant or not, or maybe.
Sure.
But some cases it is in this conflict of interest. So which side will take?
If there is a conflict of interest, you actually don't even have to investigate it. You can directly raise it. You can raise it with OAI and advise us that you have identified a potential conflict of interest, and we can then investigate and sanction. It doesn't actually require you to even conduct an inquiry or investigate.
I'm saying from experience, from ADB, is that actually the bidder submit the document and we have checked all things. And just on a minor issue, what the issue was there, that is this document, the bidder is indirectly involved in this issue. That is the irritation of the company. So my question is that, so who is, what will the major issues and how to make, that we can understand. Our evaluation committee, we have sent it for the control review.
Right.
They check and give us control for the recommendation. It's conflict interest.
Right.
But we can understand.
So the way it works is the operations department gets in touch. Sorry, this is the last one. The operations department gets in touch with OAI. We have a conflict of interest unit within OAI. They assess the actual case and then they respond to the operations department. So it's not like the operations department is making that decision on their own. They contact us, we evaluate, and we respond to them within 2 or 3 days at most. So that's how that determination that you see finally that comes to you as the EA has actually gone through my office as well.
Actually, it is not my question. I'd like to know from that. Actually, conflict interest, who is side will give the information?
Whose side as in?
That means who is situation? Actually, some cases we can understand. Just agency, agency evaluation committee.
Yes, of course. Yes, yes.
Some cases, minor cases, it is okay. I am not doing it. But actually, we have to know. Actually, a conflict interest will be happen these cases.
Okay. You mean like examples of when it can take place? Okay. Very hard to give you examples. I'll tell you why. For example, we give you one example in terms of the husband and the wife working for 2 different companies. Both of them are aware of it, both of them are submitting the bills. That's one example. But there are many such examples. It could be relation by blood, it could be conflict of interest because of prior work experience, it could be conflict of interest because of literally where they have worked in the past. For example, I used to work with Ernst & Young before. Now, Ernst & Young is one of the retainers for my office. So, the rules in ADB is that for 1 year, after you've left your prior employer, you shouldn't be involved in any procurement decision involved in that particular firm. I had left EY in 2012-13. I joined ADB in 2015. When I joined ADB in 2015, I wasn't required to disclose it, but I still disclosed it. I sent an email to my director saying that I used to work for Ernst & Young. It's been 3 years plus since I was working for them, but I want you to know. So if I'm taking any decision, then I've disclosed it. Then it's his call as the director and as the head of the department, whether he wants to actually keep me on it or tell me, okay, recuse yourself. The important thing is disclosure. If they have failed to disclose the conflict of interest, that for me is the bigger problem. The actual existence of the conflict of interest is in itself not the problem. Failure to disclose links back to intent. It means they intended to conceal. You will only intend to conceal the conflict of interest under one circumstance, if you intend to use it. There's no other reason why you will hide it.
I think we should I think very much. The joke is we can discuss this conflict of interest. We can go offline, so we have plenty of information that we can feed in. So get in touch with us.
Thank you, Mr. Talati. We'll move forward with our next session. Yesterday, due to some unavoidable circumstances, we weren't able to conduct one session, so we are going to fit that in now. This is on sharing success stories in project implementations, turnaround program, and the success stories of Dhaka Wasa in project implementation. May I request Mr. Zahiruddin Ahmed, Team Leader, Water Resources Management, Bangladesh Resident Mission, to come up on the stage to introduce Mr. Engineer Taksan A. Khan, Managing Director, Dhaka Wasa.
Thank you very much. I'm delighted to have this opportunity to introduce Dhaka Water Supply and Sewerage Authority, which is commonly known as Dhaka WASA. Dhaka WASA functions under WASA Act 1996, and ADB has a very long-standing relationship with Dhaka WASA. Actually, our present Director General, Mr. Hun Kim, spearheaded the program with Dhaka WASA. The first loan that was actually signed was Dhaka Water Supply's Sector Development Project in 2006. And since then, Dhaka WASA has made a major headway in water supply and introducing the DMA system, reducing the non-revenue water. And after Mr. Taksim Khan joined Dhaka WASA, he also led a major turnaround program. And due to that, actually the overall non-revenue water has come down from 35% to 5 to 7%. And also the whole Dhaka, under the purview of the turnaround program, water supply master plan has been prepared, sewerage master plan has been prepared, and also the drainage master plan. So through our three loans with Dhaka WASA, we are cautiously optimistic that Dhaka WASA would be able to supply water to the city dwellers, including the low-income community, in a sustainable way. And also we are looking forward to Dhaka WASA in our future interventions in the sewerage front. So let me have this opportunity to call upon the Managing Director of Dhaka WASA, Mr. Taksim Khan, and let us give him a round of applause.
Okay, can you hear me? Yeah? Okay, thank you very much. So it's a great pleasure for me to come here today now, and I'd like to thank Asian Development Bank for giving me the opportunity to speak in front of you. I'm not taking much of your time. The thing that I'm going to say is actually a short story. A story of one of the utility of Dhaka, of Bangladesh. And oh, my voice is okay. In fact, I can speak without these also. Anyway, never mind, never mind. So, okay, the story of the city, Dhaka. I know here you're from different countries, including Bangladesh. So, actually, Dhaka, Bangladesh, and it's a capital city of Bangladesh, and it's a mega city. First of all, we have to understand that a mega city, according to the definition, a mega city is a city which does have a population of more than 1 million and 2,000 per square kilometer, more than 2,000 people per square kilometer. Fortunately and unfortunately, Dhaka is a city with 30,000 people per square kilometer, which means it is almost 15 times more than a mega city, the definition of mega city. That's why I want to say Dhaka is not a mega city, it's a mega city or a giga city. So you have to give a new definition of Dhaka according to the mega city. And as you know, the mega city is a blessing for a developed country. But mega city is not a blessing for a developing country. And that Bangladesh is a developing country. Although we have not crossed that bar, but we are still in the developing country category. So that is the reason why we need to have very cautious in our management and other utilities. And here in this mega city, we are managing the water utility. And that's what we have a lot of challenges. And now I will tell you a small story about how we have been able to overcome all those challenges and to make some success in delivering water to the Dhaka city dwellers. So that's what is turnaround program of Dhaka WASA. Okay, next. So, as I told, Dhaka is a mega city, and fortunately at this moment we have 24/7 water. And we have an area of 400 square kilometers with a population of 17 million people. Sometimes when I say 17 million, people cannot understand, especially in the Western countries. So I have to say that I am representing a city which does have the population, if you have two, the total population of Switzerland and Austria together. Then people can understand, wow, that's a big city. Otherwise, sometimes 17 million, 20 million, it doesn't sound. What does it mean by? What's the volume? What's the totality? So we are now representing a city of 17 million. Of course, with enormous challenges. So the whole total urbanization is a challenge, and here water is another challenge. And implementing the projects is actually another big challenge. And I understand you people are all representing different projects in different countries. And you are the implementing agency, you are implementing the project. So what are the challenges that we are facing? The same challenges that we faced and we are still facing. So how we have overcome that? So first we have spelled out what is our vision. So we wanted to be, in 2009, we make a changeover, and the present government has come to power, and we have been given the responsibility of managing Dhaka Wasa. So we set up our vision, and we wanted to be the best water utility and water and sanitation utility in Southeast Asia. What does it mean by? We spelled it out like that. We wanted to be environmental friendly, sustainable, and pro-people water management authority in Bangladesh. And that's what the timeline we have given by 2021. Why 2021? Because in the year 2009, when this government, under the leadership of the Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, came to power, they declared that the Bangladesh will be a middle-income country by 2021. As well as she also declared that Bangladesh will be a digital Bangladesh, means everything automation. So in line with that, we have also declared that we want to reach our vision by 2021. Next, I think it's not working, or it's off. Up to point here. Okay. So the mission that we have set there, very common, that is constantly seek way to better serve our customer, implement the projects effectively and speedily. That's what's the point of interest. That is, we wanted to implement the projects, and that's what we are doing. And reducing our dependency from the groundwater to the surface water. Those who have come from the water and other utilities will be knowing that water, every country, every city, how they are producing the water, how they are giving the water. Actually, what they are doing mostly, there's a two way. Only one is to extract underground water, or to give the surface water, treating the surface water, the river water, the spring water, the sea water, and supplying to your people. So there's a two way. So also we do have the same, and we are still dependent mostly on the underground water extraction, which is not environmental friendly. And what we have said, that we want it to be environmental friendly, sustainable, and pro-people water management utility. So we have to change our focus from the underground extraction to the surface water, which is a big challenge. And here are the projects, here are the different projects that we have to take and that we have to implement and that we are implementing. Then practice a corporate culture in management and operation. This is also really important, because when you have to do a big project, when you like to implement a project successfully, you need to have your base organization has to be well footed in its own, and that's what it is. And it has to be corporate culture, what we wanted to have. And then ensure high level of transparency and accountability and integrity, which just now we have listening from the integrity point of view. And also having the improved efficiency and reducing the operating cost. What is operating cost? I'll tell you later. And so what we have done, I'm sorry, the previous one, previous to that. Okay. So what we have done, we have taken a holistic approach towards that water management, and that is what is turnaround program. So we took a program that we wanted to turn around. We wanted to bring change. We wanted to have a new change management. We wanted to bring a difference. Why? That's what is now we are going to say why. And that is what is a capacity building. In nutshell, to make the capacity, to enhance the capacity. So that is what is your today's successful project design and implementation regional capacity building program. So we also wanted to enhance our capacity, and that's our program, and that was turnaround program, which we started in 2009. And at this stage where we are standing, and before that, still we have to. Then what is a turnaround program? So it is the mindset change. First, number one. Number two, transparency and accountability. Number three, the cost-effective management. Number four, customer service excellence. And number five, institutional reform for capacity building. The first one is mindset change. Any change you want to bring will be registered. No change in this world took place without any resistance. It is legal, illegal, justified, non-justified, doesn't matter. Always there is a resistance. Even if you like to ask your own employee who is sitting in this seat, after 1 month if you tell him, my dear, you just go and sit in this seat, he will say, why sir? Because he doesn't want the change. So that is what is our mindset. So that's what we wanted to have, the change of mindset. And that was the first of the reason of our turnaround. And that. So why the turnaround? For the sustainability of the organization. For the large investment for water and sanitation. Because as we have said that we need investment. And no investment will come to you until unless you are a sustainable organization. Nobody, not a single bank, whether it is ADB, World Bank, Danida, whatever, whoever, nobody will invest until and unless they see that you have the capability to utilize the money. You have the capability to implement the project. So in order to attract investment, attract projects to be implemented, which you need to implement, you have to make yourself sustainable. You have to stand your own footing. That was our turnaround program. We wanted to stand on our own footings. That's the reason we did this turnaround program. The reason? Shifting from groundwater to surface water. Obviously, to shift from groundwater to surface water is a huge investment. Investment of money, investment of technology, investment of managerial skill, the capability of the management to bring the change and to bring and to use the surface water from the groundwater, shifting from the groundwater to the surface water. And another reason was to access to the poor, as you know the SDG, Sustainable Development Goal, goal number 6.1, goal number 6.2, you know the Sustainable Development Goal, where it's very much saying nobody should be kept behind. You have to make an inclusive management system. Everybody, poor or rich, especially in the water, you cannot keep the people out of your water range. That's what we wanted to have. This turnaround program to bring all the poor people under the water network and establish a good governance. So this was in a nutshell what we wanted to do. But obviously there was a lot of challenges. And what are the challenges that we have faced? First and foremost, that I told, traditional mindset. We don't want to change. Bureaucratic complication. Very much bureaucratic complication everywhere. In your own management, in the total government management, in the individual company management, everywhere there are bureaucratic complications which you have to overcome in order to bring a change. Lack of transparency, obviously. There are trade union, because when you are working in any organization, you must have a trade union. I don't know everywhere you have or not, but most of you have. And you have a big hassle to overcome or to tackle the trade union. You can make your trade union in your organization as a liability to you, or you can make it an asset to you. It's you who have to decide whether you want to make your union a liability or your union as an asset. Because in order to run your show, you need them. So that's what is your decision. And then the vested interest. Obviously, this is also partly what I was listening in the morning. The integrity, the vested interest in group. There are a lot of vested interest inside your organization, vested interest in the political parties, vested interest in the government, vested interest in the bureaucracy. So everywhere there are vested. So you have to be very alert, careful when we make the change, because these were the big challenges that we have to overcome. And obviously, one of the best that is, I told the mindset. We, the utility providers, we have the idea, we have the mindset that we are the masters. And all our customers, Dhaka City Builders are our servants. Because we are the government officers. But that is what is completely wrong. The customers, those who are paying their bill, and from their bill we are getting our salary. When I used to say that if the customers of Dhaka City decide not to pay their bill for consecutive 3 months, Dhaka Wasa people will not get their salary. So who is the master? So master is those clients, those customers, and we are their servant. So that mindset is the first mindset that we wanted to bring a change. So all these, what are the outcome of that turnaround? I'll now tell you in a video that what is the outcome. And after that video, I'll tell you about the turnaround program. And now let us watch the video on turnaround program. What is the success, little bit of the turnaround program. Please. You can input sound. More sound. In this screen also you can.
Dhaka is one of the most populous cities in the world. Ensuring uninterrupted supply of safe drinking water for the inhabitants of the city is a great challenge for Dhaka Wasa. Besides achieving this goal, a program was taken in 2010 called Dhaka Wasa. Dhaka Wasa Turnaround Program in a view to enhance its performance and make it a client-friendly, transparent and accountable institution. The inhabitants of Dhaka have now started receiving the benefits of this change management initiative.
Give the sound, please.
In the last 50 years, Dhaka Wasa has achieved the capacity of producing safe water more than the total demand of the city. In 2009, it produced 1.88 billion liters of water daily against the total daily demand of 2.12 billion liters. And in 2018, its increased daily production stands at 2.45 billion liters, while the total daily demand is 2.25 billion liters. At the same time, Dhaka Wasa has reduced its system loss from 40% in 2010 to 20% in 2018, and in DME areas reduced to 5%. Dhaka Wasa increased its revenue earnings in many folds. It earned 10.61 billion Taka in 2017-2018 fiscal year, while in 2007-2008 its revenue earnings was 3 billion Taka only. Dhaka Wasa has introduced a full e-billing system, making the bill payment system automated. Now, the customers can pay their bills round the clock through mobile, SMS and the internet. Presently, Dhaka Wasa is collecting its bill in real time online. On the other hand, Dhaka Wasa's total operating expenditure has been reduced. Its operating ratio is now 0.66, while it was 0.90 in 2008. The international standard is 0.65. Dhaka Wasa Link 16162, a round-the-clock mobile phone line, has been set up to ensure full-time client service. The clients can call this number anytime to make any complaints regarding water supply, sewerage, or the bills. Paying due attention to the environmental concerns, Dhaka Wasa has taken an epoch-making initiative to use 70% surface water in lieu of underground water by 2021. Saidabad Water Treatment Project 2 has already been completed to use Shitalaka River as a surface water source.
টেকসই ও গণমুখী পানি ব্যবস্থাপনার লক্ষ্যে ঢাকা ওয়াসা 3টা মেগা প্রজেক্ট হাতে নিয়েছে, যার একটি পদ্মা রসুলদিয়া ওয়াটার ট্রিটমেন্ট প্ল্যান্ট ফেজ 1।
Podda Joshudia water treatment plant project, bringing raw water from the river Podda with a capacity of producing 450 million liters water daily, will be completed by December 2018.
আগামী 2021 সালের আগে ইনশাআল্লাহ আমরা 3টা মেগা প্রজেক্টের মাধ্যমে ঢাকা শহরের পানি ব্যবস্থাপনার 70% সারফেস ওয়াটার এবং মাত্র 30% আন্ডারগ্রাউন্ড ওয়াটার এক্সট্রাকশনে যাচ্ছি। আমাদের পরবর্তী দুটি প্রজেক্ট হচ্ছে গন্ধপুর ওয়াটার ট্রিটমেন্ট প্ল্যান্ট এবং সায়দাবাদ ওয়াটার ট্রিটমেন্ট প্ল্যান্ট ফেজ 3।
Gandhipur Water Treatment Plant Project, a plant in the district of Naranganj with the capacity of producing 500 million liters of fresh water daily, using the water from Meghna River through a pipeline, is also underway. An agreement on this project is going to be signed today. This project will be completed by 2021 and it will increase Dhaka Wasa's water supply in the northwestern part of Dhaka city. Safe water supplies to the slums have been built in a view to provide water service for the low-income population of Dhaka city and Naranganj. Authorized water lines have been set up in Orail Bosti, the biggest slum in Dhaka city. Initiatives have been taken to finish the work of introducing legal water supply lines in all the slums in the city by December 2018. A master plan has been taken for permanent solutions of problems related to water supply, sewerage and drainage systems. Dhaka Wasa had no foreign investment in 2008, but up to 2018, it has received $1.8 billion from international development partners for its projects. Another $2 billion foreign fund will be invested in implementing Dhaka Wasa's various projects. Dhaka Wasa was highlighted and praised in a book published by Asian Development Bank (ADB) for its successful implementation of Dhaka Wasa turnaround program and was acknowledged as one of the best water utility in the public sector of the South Asian countries.
Proud to find that at present we are not far from our vision to be the best water utility in the public sector of Southeast Asia.
Dhaka Wasa has changed. Bangladesh is heading forward.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much for watching. And we have something else to continue. But what I understand, the organizer will not tell because of the fact that you're already tired and you would like to have your tea break, which of course I have taken out from you. So let us take the tea break and I will continue after that. Please.
Yeah. Let's have a 10-minute tea break and let's strictly stay to 10 minutes as we have like a tight schedule going on, and we'll continue with the session.
Thank you.
লাইট এদিকে দিয়ে রেখে চাই তাহলে আপনাদের এখন নাই ফোকাসে এটা থাকবে
সবগুলি আপনার আছে বুকা বস জিনিসটা কেমন হয়েছে মানে ল্যাপটপ থেকে গেছে প্রসেসরে প্রসেসর থেকে ক্যাট সিক্স না এটা না ক্যাট সিক্সের থেকে আইসি হলো আপনার প্রজেক্টর টেলিভিশন প্রজেক্টর ল্যাপটপ গেছে ওই জায়গায় গেছে হলো আপনার হলো প্রসেসর গেছে নিচে গেছে হলো ক্যাট সিক্স গেছে হলো প্রজেক্টর এনহারে কইতেছি যে চলেন টিভিটাও চেক করি দেখেন যে এটা ঠিক আছে
না টিভি তো চলছে না
লাইনটা দিয়ে দিই এটা লাগান বিসমিল্লাহ
এইটা আইলে কোথায় এই ল্যাপটপটা
এটা
হ্যাঁ
এটা
ল্যাপটপটা কি দিকে আনা হয়েছে
এই ল্যাপটপটা দিয়ে
খুঁটুর খুঁটুর করছে
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ ওই জায়গায় করছে এই ল্যাপটপ দিয়ে হ্যাঁ করছে কি এই যে এখন যে প্রোগ্রামটা হইলো না এটা ডাইরেক্ট আপনার হইলো ওয়েবসাইটে ডাইরেক্ট
তাহলে
এই ল্যাপটপকে ডাইরেক্ট আরটিভি ভিডিও রাখবে ভিডিওতে ল্যাপটপ থেকে কাপ্টারে ঢুকবে বুঝছি কাপ্টারের জন্য আগে ডাইরেক্ট দিচ্ছে
যে প্রজেক্টরটা নিয়ে আসছেন নিয়ে আসলেন আপনি শুধু তাদের একটা ভিডিও প্রস্তুত জানে আমার মাথা পড়তেছিল একটা ল্যাপটপ আপনাদের ভিডিও প্রস্তুতটা গেছে
ভিডিও প্রসেসর
সুইচ সুইচ আপনি প্রজেক্টর আপনাদের একটা ছিল 4টা জিনিস আপনি
টিভিও গেছে হ্যাঁ না 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 এখন শিওর দাঁড়ান আমি শিওর হয়ে কইতেছি ভাই ভাই কি বলে ল্যাপটপ এই জায়গায় আছেন একটা হ্যাঁ তাহলে খোলাখুলি করতে যাচ্ছিস না চেকিং করা দরকার টিভি গেছে সব গেছে কি গেছে লাইনটা যেমনে যেমনে গেছে না করতে করতে নামছে কাটতে কাটতে সব কিছু কিন্তু
ঠিক আছে টিভি কি আসছে টিভি আসছে
না এটা কাজ করি কি এই ল্যাপটপটার থেকে এই কেবলটা খুললাম এমনি লাইন দিয়ে দিই ডাইরেক্ট এমনি তো বুঝতেছি না টিভিতে পাইতেছে না ওই যে প্রজেক্টরে পাইতেছে
এই এক্সটেনশনটা কার এটা
পাওয়ারবোর্ডটা
পাওয়ারবোর্ডটা আমাদের প্রবলেম এটা
কষ্ট করে এটা লাগান
কেবল নষ্ট
কেবল না মানে যেমনে যেমনে লাইন এসে এমনি এমনি পড়তে পড়তে নামছে আমি দেখতেছি টেলিভিশনটা নষ্ট হয়েছে কিনা
আমাদের লাইন খোলা
অ্যাডাপ্টারটা পাওয়ার ইয়ার ওনার যে অ্যাডাপ্টারটা হচ্ছে ল্যাপটপের লাইনটা দিয়ে চেক করব
না না এখন দিয়ে না এটা লাইভে চলছে অন্য একটা
তাই আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে ল্যাপটপটা খুলে নিয়ে আসছি
ঝামেলা
আপনি মনে করতেছেন আপনারটাও যাইব গা হ্যাঁ না ওই ভয় পাবেন না নিয়ে এসে একটা দেন এটা দেন
এটা করলে
ল্যাপটপ থেকে ডাইরেক্টলি
টিভি
হুম
এটা এটা সোর্সটা কোন এটা সোর্স কোথায়
এবি এবি এটা তো এবি লাগাইছি কি তো ক্যামেরা ডাইরেক্ট পেয়েছে এদিকে হেন আপনি এটা তো মাত্র লাগানো হয়েছে এদিকে হেন শুনেন পরে লাস্টে যখন এই কাহিনী হয়েছে পরে স্যার আমার বলছে যে এটা আপনি ল্যাপটপে রাখেন আর ওই পাশে ক্যামেরা করে দেন পরে ডাইরেক্ট ওই যে এবি কেবল থেকে ওই আমার যেটা অনলাইন মেশিন
আমরা এখানে ওই যে পাওয়ার এক্সটেনশন যেগুলো এক্সটেনশনগুলো সুবিধা না আপনার যে এক্সটেনশনগুলো ইউজ করছেন না এক্সটেনশনগুলো সব আপনি 2 পিন লাগাইছেন এখানে তো 3 পিন দরকার
আচ্ছা 3 পিন দরকার সমস্যাটা তো আমারও জায়গা না
2 পিন
সমস্যাটা তো আমারও জায়গা না সমস্যাটা তো এই জায়গায় হয়েছে
কথাটা বুঝছেন ওখান থেকেই তো ফ্লাকচুয়েশন হয়তো বা পাওয়ারটা ওইভাবে আসছে এই এক্সটেনশনটা কোত্থেকে আসছে এটা কোত্থেকে লাগাইছেন আপনারা এক্সটেনশন এটা তো 3 পিন
এখন আমার উল্টা দিতেছে পিকআপ
না এখানে তো ধরেন আপনারা লাগাইছেন 2 পিন আমাদের এখানে হলো 3 পিন।
2 পিনে প্রবলেমটা 2 পিনে
থ্রি পিনের ব্যাগটা না
এই যে তো শর্ট সার্কিটের প্রবলেম এখন ওটা আপনি হুদাই আমি একটু কই এটা আপনি হুদাই আমগো উপরে ডিভাইড করলে উপরে
ডিভাইড কেউ কারোর উপরে করার তো দরকার নেই।
ফলস আপনার কিংবা ফলস হইলো ক্লায়েন্টের
খুলে দেবো
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ আপনারটা ওই আগেরটাই লাগে রাখেন আরেকটা কাজ করা যাবো দেখলো এখন কি ল্যাপটপ এখন যেটা ইয়ে হবে ল্যাপটপ চলবে দুইটাতেই ল্যাপটপ চলবে ওইভাবে
ওইটা দুটো জন্য
আচ্ছা
না ওই এই ল্যাপটপের প্রেজেন্টেশন তো চলবে।
হ্যাঁ চলো
তাহলে এটার কানেক্টিভিটি কোনটা? এটা কেবল কোন?
এই যে এটাই খুললে এই যে গানছে এটা দিয়ে তো চেক করলাম এটা ইনের
এটা তো এটার দরকার নেই তো কেবল না
টেলিভিশন তো অফ আছে টেলিভিশন অন করে দেওয়া যাবে এই জায়গায় ইনে লাগান এটা ইনে লাগান এটাও গেছে নাকি দেখেন আগে এটা ইনে লাগান লাগাইছেন ছোট কেবল দিয়ে ওটা আউট একটা লইলাম
আচ্ছা এটা রিলিজ করুন।
এটা নিচে থেকে বের করেন তো যে এটা ওর উপর দিয়ে
সমস্যা নেই কই থাকবে না এটাও মনে গেছে ভাই পাইতেছে না
এখন প্রসাদ দেখেন না কিন্তু প্রসাদ
পিছন দিকে আসতেছে আপনাকে সামনে করে দেবো
ইন কোনটা
ইন এটা এটাতে তো এই যে লাইনটা আনছে আর এই জায়গায় 4টা হইলো আউট 4টার থেকে একটা নিচে এই জায়গায়
ইন গেছে
আউট গেছে এই জায়গায় আর এই জায়গায় নিউছে
আউট গেছে ওখানে ইন
কিন্তু এটা এখন ডাইরেক্ট দিলে পায় তাহলে এটাও গেছে গেছে
শুরু হবে বুঝছো
বিজিপিআর আপনার বিজিএর যে কনভার্টারটা না ওটা
এখন চলছে না তখন নাকি?
এটা তো ডাইরেক্ট চলছে
না না এতক্ষণ প্রেজেন্টেশন আগে চলছিল না এটা?
না এটা ডাইরেক্ট চলছে ডাইরেক্ট লাগানো
We'll continue with Mr. We'll continue with the session. I hope all of you have come inside. Invite Mr. Saxon to continue with his presentation again, please.
Okay, good morning once again. I think we can start now. So, just now we have watched a video that is in a nutshell about the total turnaround program and the success of that turnaround program to some extent. Now I'll give you some of the slides that what we have done at the beginning in 2009 or 10. At the beginning, as a holistic approach towards our water management, we took some of the master plan. Because if you do not know where to go, what to do, or if you do the things on an ad hoc basis, that's not the sustainable solution. So what we have done, we have taken three, especially two master plans. One is on water, and there is storage, and there is drainage, although it is shared by other organizations also. So we started implementing the water master plan. Okay, so we started implementing the water master plan first, and in water, what we do have, and as I told, that we are still extracting underground water. That's a storage. We are extracting underground water, but we wanted to shift our focus from underground to the surface water. Still we are 75%. Still we are 75% using underground water, and which is not environmental friendly. So what we have done, we have taken 3 mega projects for water treatment plant that means to shift our focus from the underground to the surface. And all those 3 mega projects are now undergoing. These are, I am using the word mega. The reason is that these are quite big. One of them is Padma Jasholdia water treatment plant, bringing water from another river, Padma, which is around 22 kilometers away from Dhaka. That's also one of the unfortunate part of us in Dhaka in Bangladesh. That Dhaka is a wonderful city with 4 peripheral rivers, surrounded by 4 rivers. That is Shitalakha, Buriganga, Tura, Balu, and another one is also Dhaleshwari. So there are 5 rivers surrounding Dhaka. But unfortunately, the river quality is such, the water quality of the river is such that we have to take water not from there, but we have to go far away from Dhaka, the Padma and the Meghna. So that's also another big challenge for us. But we have already overcome that. Now we are bringing water from the river Padma, which is Padma Jasholdia water treatment plant with a total investment of around $450 million by Chinese Exim Bank. The second one, we have just started Gandharpur water treatment plant with a capacity of 500 million liter and with the investment of around 550, that's 0.5 billion dollar, with the investment of Asian Development Bank, AFD, French Development Authority, EIB, European Investment Bank, Luxembourg, and Government of Bangladesh. So that we have just started. And the third one we will start soon, the Saidabad Water Treatment Plant Phase 3, with a capacity of 450 million liter of water. Again, a mega project with the financing from Danida, Denmark, KfW, German, AFD, French, and EIB, once again, European Investment Bank, Luxembourg, and the GOB, Government of Bangladesh. So that is the water, and that water master plan, what we have started in 2010, is now 100% within our grid, and we are in the process of implementing total master plan, and that will ensure Dhaka City a water up to 2030. And after that, we have also the second phase of those projects, and that will ensure Dhaka City for water secure city up to 2050. So we do have a complete roadmap, and we are now working on that roadmap. So that is about the water. And regarding the sewerage, we have just started now implementing a sewerage treatment plant, and we have the plan that by 2025, Dhaka City will be 100% pipeline sewerage system with the treatment plant, and 5 of the treatment plants, which is the peripheral of Dhaka, we have now already started one, the Dashankati sewage treatment plant. We are now having 2 more with the Paglas upgrading and the Uttara sewage treatment plant with the World Bank financing, and 2 more with the Asian Development financing, which is now undergoing the feasibility study in Rayan Bajar sewage treatment plant with the network, as well as the Midpur sewage treatment plant with the network. So by 2025, although it was in the master plan 2030, now we have gained some experience, and now we are bothered to make a challenge that by 2025, inshallah, we will be able to overcome and we will be able to implement the total master plan up to that period, so that Dhaka will be under the 100% sewerage network. Now let me tell you some of the best practices that we are doing or we have been able to do through this turnaround program. One of them is that we have been able to ensure 24/7 water in the Dhaka city. Though sometimes we do have some problem, but that is due to the non-sustainability, which we are now adding towards. And we have very less non-revenue water, I'll come to that. Then our operating ratio, we have been able to reduce the operating ratio, which is a symbol of good governance as well as good management. Of course, good governance is part of good management. Then we have ensured water and sewerage to our low-income community. That means the people, those who are living in the informal settlement. This also, as you know, that like Dhaka, many other cities of the Southeast Asia, where a substantial quantity of people are living in the informal settlement. That means in the shanties and on the slum areas where they don't have their address. And that is the reason why it is very hard to give the legal water. But we have taken a very big decision in 2010 that will bring all those slum areas under the legal water network, and that's what we are now working with. Another big best practice that we have done, district metered area, which has drastically reduced our NRW, non-revenue water, or if you say in other departments, I know you are not all from the water. Non-revenue water means there is system loss. I think everybody of us know the system loss, either in the electricity or in water and everywhere. There is some loss. So that is what we call here NRW, non-revenue water. So we have been able to reduce the non-revenue water. And another is that to reach to the poor people and everybody of the city, not to keep anybody out of the water reach, we have made water ATM card. So these are some of the best practices or innovation that we have done. I will not explain everything, but I will just, okay. Water production. So we do have a demand of 2,200 million liter water per day. 2,200 million liter. I don't know how much you understand about this million liter of water, but it's a huge water, huge water. And we do have the capacity of supplying 2,420 million liter water per day. Now we are supplying water from the underground source, which is not very environmental friendly. And that is the reason why we have taken the big projects of going to the surface water. So we do have now, we can supply water more than the demand of Dhaka city. And what I have told you that we have decided to give water to the poor people, that is what we call the slum areas. Why? Because water is human right. In 2010 UN declaration. So everybody, and also SDG says nobody should be kept behind. So that's the reason why you have decided to give legal water to all the slum areas through NGOs. And we are targeting that by 2018, actually still we are a little bit skeptical, but we hopefully by 2018 we will be able to bring all the slum areas of Dhaka city under the legal water network. This is an excellent practice and very much unlike any relevant city of Southeast Asia, where you will find that most of the cities that have the slum areas where they don't have the legal water. And the authority is not giving the legal water. They are all illegal waters. The vendors, private vendors, the mustangs, the hooligans are controlling that. So we have been able to make this done through our organization, and we are now giving legal water to the slum areas, and by 2018 we will be giving to everybody. The non-revenue water, which I told you, that is water loss, system loss. So we had this system loss in 2008. Before we took over the responsibility of Dhaka Wasa, it was 40%. And today, through our turnaround program, we have reduced it to 20%. This is also one of the very best practice, because in South Asia, especially the Southeast Asian countries, none of the cities where it is a public utility, none of the cities does have water, non-revenue water less than 30%. And we have been able to reduce it to 20%. And after that, we have introduced, of course, this is the total system. What we have done, we have changed all the pipelines of Dhaka city, and we have introduced a new system, of course new for us, but not for everybody, district metered area. That means we have divided the whole city into 150 clusters, 150 districts, and each cluster and each district have an individual water network system. And that has yielded an excellent result, not only in NRW but other areas also. So what we have done, this is the financing from the Asian Development Bank, and I will say this is probably one of the success stories for Asian Development Bank also, because this sort of mega project in changing the pipeline of a mega city, probably Asian Development Bank has not done before. And what has given us? The non-revenue water, that is NRW, which I told that it is in general 40%. We have been able to reduce it by 20%. And in NRW, in those DMA area is now only 5%, 7%, 6%, 2% in different areas, different DMAs. In average, it is 5 to 7%. So this is one of the best practices in Asia that we have been able to overcome, and we have been able to reduce the water loss to such a level. One of the good practice also our revenue collection. Before that, the bills send out. The bills, that means the bill for your water use. Earlier it was that only we have been able to send 93% of the bills, but now we are sending 100% of the bill. And as well as the revenue earning, or what we call the service delivery earning. Yeah, we had in 2009 64%. That means whatever we are billing to the people, we have been able to recover only 64%. That means 36% of the money we are not getting back. But now today, our revenue income, 98%. Everybody is paying. Everybody is paying. And there is no area, almost no, only 2% area, which is nothing. So this is a great success. And we have been able to change that to the turnaround program. And why because we wanted to stand on our own footings. We have introduced a complaint or redressing, that is what do you call that, 16162 complaint service, very sophisticated third-party service. Operating ratio, this is a very interesting ratio. What does it mean by operating ratio? Operating ratio means the total operation cost versus your total income. Say if your collection of the bill or money or the revenue is $100, how much you are spending for your operation and maintenance of the utility of the organization? What's your OPEX? I'm not talking about the CAPEX, the capital investment. That's called operating ratio. So if you are earning $100 and spending $100 for your operation and maintenance, your operating ratio is 1. When you are earning 100, spending 90, your operation ratio is 0.9. Now, in the water sector, it is said the world's best practice, according to WSP World Bank, is 0.65. That means when you are earning $100, if you are spending for your O&M, that's for your OPEX, $65, you are doing a good practice. You are doing the best. It's a good governance. It's a good management, good implementing agency, good implementing practices. And we do have 0.66. So we have been able to gradually reduce it from 0.9 to 0.66. Every month we have 0.66, 0.78, 0.68, 0.70, that's we are juggling within the 65 to 70, our operating ratio, which is also one of the good practice. As I told in the video you have seen, that we do have at this moment a total of foreign investment about $1.9 billion. Why I am saying this thing? Because at the time when we started, we hadn't that much of investment, but we were striving for the investment because of the fact that we wanted to take a lot of big projects. We want to bring a change, but we don't have the money. And the investor, that I told in the beginning, that the bankers will never come to you until they see that you are on your own footings. You can pay back your money. Not a single bank in the world will lend you a single dollar until this bank is assured or being convinced that they will get back their money. Number one. Number two, of course, that they want that their money should be properly used. They want there will be no pilferage. They want that will not be misused, blah, blah, blah things. So for what? And for that reason why we wanted to make a change in our management system, what is called turnaround program. Because in order to attract them, I have to make myself sustainable and standing on my own footings. That's what we have tried and we have done, and that is the reason. That's the reason I'm showing this thing, because we have been able to stand our own footings and able to bring the trust to the development partners, so that now we are getting $1.9 billion investment, and now we are getting the investment, or the development partners are now asking us, where do you need the money? It is not that we are going to the development partners and asking and begging for the money. Now the development partners are coming to us and asking us and telling us, what are the projects you do have? So that's what is the change, and that is turnaround program. And our upcoming investment, and then our partners, of course, the government of Bangladesh, Asian Development Bank, as I told, they are one of the best partners and our trusted partner, the World Bank, the Danida, JICA, EDCF, that is Exim Bank of Korea, EIB, European Investment Bank, Luxembourg, Chinese Exim Bank, AFD, French Development Authority, and recently added KfW, German, and UNICEF to some extent in the local areas. So these are the development partners, those who are supporting us in our activity. What we are doing in the networking. So we are now networking with different organizations. In India, we are networking with Bangalore, with Jalandhar, Punjab, with Rajasthan, with Delhi Jal Board. And we do have an operating, what we call the operators partner. We have a partnership twinning program with Vitesse Evidence of Netherlands. We do have, not now, K-Water from Korea, and we do have now with KUKL Nepal. I know many of you are from Nepal. So we do have a KUKL, we have a very good partnership with them, training program. And that's also because of the fact we are now sharing our experience and we are gaining from others their experiences. At this stage of our turnaround program, now we are focusing on smart water management. Because to some extent we have been able to make some sort of changes. Now it is time to go for IT base, that is IoT. I understand, some of you understand IoT, Internet of Things. So this era is now IoT era. And we are now moving towards IoT. Everything and anything we'll be doing through Internet, through computerization, through automation. And that's what is some of the things that now we are introducing SCADA in all of our, not that treatment plants, of course, we have very sophisticated state-of-the-art treatment plant with SCADA, 100% automated. But we are now putting SCADA in our small pumps, small pumping device on the water extraction pumps. We are using the SCADA, of course not 100%, we are now just started doing it and we'll be continuing that. Then we are now planning to have a smart meter, because our billing system is 100% automated. It's from 2012, even earlier. Only the thing that we are doing manually is somebody has to see the meter reading and then come back to his office and put it in the computer, the data. And rest, everything is done by the software. Even the generation of the bill and giving it to you through your SMS, and then going to the bank, or what we have done now, paperless billing system. You don't need the paper. You can go to the bank and tell your 10-digit account number, and the bank can tell you, because the bank has 36 banks have direct access to our server. So you can pay your bill there. You can pay your bill through your mobile phone. You can pay your bill through your computer, through the internet, through the the mobile banking. So we have made it so easy so that everybody can pay, as well as we have made it real-time online. And not only real-time online, only real-time online. What does it mean by only real-time online? That means we don't have any offline billing system. You cannot pay your bill offline when you will be not knowing that your bill has been paid. Whenever you are paying your bill, you must receive then and then an intimation in your SMS, in your mobile phone that your bill has been paid. And our recovery, that's also one of the reasons that we don't have any pending for the banks. Because as soon as anybody click, it straight comes to our bank hub and in our server. So our recovery is also good for that reason. And we have introduced water ATM. What does it mean? The ATM card, actually we know ATM is when you touch the ATM card and you get the money. But we are using the word water ATM because we have now introduced some of the devices in almost all our pumps, but not yet done fully, but we have already introduced that. Then you can just take your card, touch it, and you can get your water. And this is wonderful for the poor people or the floating people. Those who have no pipeline connection in their own home, they can go and collect it. And this is what this has given a unique the response from the people of the low-income community. So we have now introducing it everywhere. Then we have e-billing, as I told, that is our whole billing system is automated. Now, what is the thing that I told that the meter reading has to be checked by somebody. So now from there, we have already developed a system that meter reading will not be seen by anybody. The reading itself through the web GSM will come to straight to our server, and then it will generate the bill. That means we are now eliminating human touch. There will be no human touch in our billing system. It will be totally 100% without human touch. So it will automatically come and it will generate the bill. Then you have e-connection, that is normal, that everything is through electronic. Recruitment process is also electronic. Our supply chain management is also electronic, that means computerized system. We have EGP, the government has introduced, as everyone knows from Bangladesh, you know. The government on purchase should be on electronic, except the big purchase like the project purchase with the development partners. Here we are not using the EGP. Other procurement, 100% we are using EGP. And e-filing that we have just started, e-doki, that means form filing. Instead of signing the file, we are now trying to make it electronically. So that's going on, but it will still has not been 100% done. Now, one of the Asian Development Bank has published a wonderful book on the success story of Dhaka Wasa, the whole total story for last 7 years, what we have done, and that has been launched.
That's right.
Yes.
This is my meaning of the time.
Yes. I'm finishing, so it is done, almost done. I think I have no more things except some of the pictures that we do have, some of the collaborations, some of the prizes, some of the Indian Times of India wants to learn from Dhaka to reduce water loss in Bangalore. Recently, one of the prominent economist of India wrote a wonderful article on the success story of Dhaka Wasa turnaround program. And at last but not least, at a glance, what I told you here. That means what we were and where we are now. The NRW from 40 to 20, NRW in the DMA 50 to 5, bill set down 93 to 100, service delivery, earning 64 to 97, then debt, we have 14 months to 5 months, manpower for 1,000 connections 16 to 9, and operating ratio 0.90 to 0.66. This is at a glance what is the outcome of the turnaround program. So this is all about in nutshell. Of course, not nutshell. I took a lot of time of yours. Sorry for that. And that's what about the turnaround program, the success of Dhaka Wasa, and that's for implementing the project successfully. So that is the reason why the turnaround program. Thank you very much. Thank you for the question.
Actually, you have heard the story from the horse's mouth, the success story of Dhaka Wasa. And ADB, as he also mentioned, touched upon that ADB has a major stake in it since 2006 through 3 loans and $1 billion plus investment. Basically, it was ADB which take lead in introducing the DMA, introducing the non-revenue water, reduction of non-revenue water, and then supporting a water supply master plan. And also in the second loan, ADB actually supported Dhaka Wasa in the paradigm shift from groundwater to surface water, Dhaka Environmentally Sustainable Water Supply Project. And in the third loan, basically we are completing the DMA system of whole Dhaka, covering 12 zones. And also, Dhaka Wasa is playing a major crucial role as a knowledge hub of the region, and it is supporting Nepal and India in exchanging views and strengthening their capacity. So at this moment, Dhaka Wasa's major capacity is water supply, but their mandate is also sewerage, as the MD mentioned. So our ADB's future direction is also to support Dhaka Wasa investment on the sewerage front, which is also very crucial. So at this stage, on behalf of ADB, we would like to extend our heartiest thanks and gratitude to the Managing Director for his able and competent leadership, and also making a big shift and change in the water supply, and we are cautiously optimistic that in future he will also contribute to the sewerage front. So if there is any question at this stage to him, I think the floor is open. But as we are pressed by time, I think time is very limited, so there may be few questions, and then we conclude the session.
I am Hassan Mansoor. I am asking as a customer. I am a customer of Dhaka Wasa. My house is in Mirpur. What we are getting, that no water is coming naturally by their system. Always we have to suck water from the pipeline. And this 10 years ago, this situation was not there. And also there is that previously 10 years back, we are paying bill 50 to 60 taka per month, and now it is 1,000, more than 1,000 taka. 10 times or 12 times higher billing, and also 15% VAT. They have told that water is a human right, and 15% VAT is not too high for the customers.
Okay, that's a government regulation, I can say, but there's no free lunch in the world. So for everything you have to pay. Everything is cost. So that's what it is. And regarding the system, of course, we are improving that. And whatever you have now after DMA, introduction of the DMA, there will be no suction. So that's also one of the success of the DMA. that there will be less suction and less NRW and less your electric bill and 24/7 water and 1 bar pressure, which is 30 feet high pressure. So that's the outcome of the deal.
I'm reminded again, we are really running out of time.
Okay.
So I think with a round of applause again, if we conclude the session and move on to the next one. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for that wonderful presentation. We'll move ahead. Next is project completion report, performance evaluation criteria. This session will be conducted by Ms. Farzana Ahmed, lead evaluation specialist, ID.
Good morning. Oh, wonderful. So after that really excellent presentation from Mr. Khan, I have the unfortunate circumstance of having to follow him. I will be presenting on evaluation. It really follows from what my good colleague from the Strategy and Policy Department presented yesterday on the design and monitoring framework. Everybody remember that? Yes? Yes, excellent. So I am Farzana Ahmed. I've been with the Asian Development Bank for almost 20 years. And I am currently in the evaluation department, but I started off in the budget provisions and then went up to the recognition. Spent some time in the operations department, Southeast Asia, then in the strategy and policy department, and then I joined IDB. So I'm very happy to be here. I come from Bangladesh, but I grew up in the UK and